Hello and thank you everyone for joining us today for the quick product update on customer surveys. I'm Lawrence Morserow, the Director of Product Marketing, and today I'm joined with one of our software managing engineers, Cody Wenzel, who is the lead engineer working on surveys. Today we're giving you an introduction to Quiq surveys, the inline, no-code, multi-channel survey product that is quite frankly super seamless and powerful. We're going to give you a snapshot of how surveys are working within the channel, but more importantly, how to build it on the back end. But first, I wanted to touch on why we did this. Why did we build Quiq surveys? Well, as you know, our customers are very influential on our roadmap. And we had a number of you asking if we could make surveys easier for your customers. Currently, your options are expensive, and they're links that are taking a customer away from the channel, or even worse, it's a survey that's requested later in time, not right when the communication happened. We looked at the competition and realized we could make a survey a better experience for both you, the business administrator, and for your customers. Easy to build out, even easier to solicit. The product has been out for many months, and here is just a snapshot of some of the customers that are currently using the Quiq survey tool. And they're already seeing fantastic results. And the results are actually really killer. Hands down, the most important standout stat is the response rate. Businesses are seeing a response rate as high as 30% in SMS. On web chat, it's around 15%. And when you have a response rate that high, well, now you're seeing and you're getting to your CSAT results immediately. And they're even increasing. Overnight, one of our customers went from being in the mid 60s to the high 70s, low 80s, and then also SMS jumping from 43% to 80%. Why is this happening? Well, remember, we made this easy for you to implement a survey. No coding is required, but we made it really easy and really quick, pun intended, for the customers to be able to respond quickly as well. So enough of me talking about how great this is. Today is about how we can get you guys working with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch gears and let's go directly into the demo. And the first thing to do is the web chat. So I'm on the Quiq Silver Mountain webpage and I'm having a web chat conversation here with somebody. And the agent is asking, hey, is there anything else I can help you with? I, as the customer, I'm going to say, nope, I'm good. So from there, the agent is now going to say, not a problem. I am now going to end the conversation. And that ending of the conversation is going to then trigger the survey. So the survey is going to come over here and it's going to ask, hey, how would you like to tell us how we did today? If the customer comes back with no, it'll terminate the conversation and it won't even evoke the survey. If the person says yes, the survey is now started. And with these surveys, we can ask different questions. We can ask a Boolean question like yes or no, or true or false, or happy or sad. And so for this one, it's a Boolean question of based on your recent interaction, was your issue resolved? Well, why, yes, it was. From here, I'm now asking a survey question of what we refer to as the score question or a scale question. 1 through 10, 1 through 5, 1 through 3, whatever your choice is, and you can, be able to respond to these. And so here, how would you rate our service to our team member? Well, I will give it a 5-star rating, or I could even skip the question and say, you know what, I really don't even want to give the agent a rating. And I'm going to hit 5. Thanks for the high marks. Is there anything else you'd like to add? This is the third type of survey question that you can ask, and this is a free-form text or a comment. So here, I'm going to capture that and say, your company is awesome. Great. From there, the survey is ended and it says, hey, have a great rest of your day. And there you can see I can have my transcript emailed directly to me. It was seamless. I didn't have to jump out of the conversation. I was able to ask the 3 questions that matter most to me as a business. And it was very easy for the customer to be able to respond. Again, this is why we're seeing the high response rates directly within the Quiq survey. So why don't we pivot over and show off what Quiq is known for, and that's SMS. So I'm going to come over here. I've already started a conversation over SMS on my iPhone, and the agent is going to respond back here. Same thing. Anything else? We'll just make it fast and easy. Okay, anything else from the agent? And I'm going to say, nope, I'm good. So then from there, that conversation is now over. The agent has now turned off the conversation and it has now been transferred over to the survey. We're on SMS, so now I don't have buttons that I can choose, but I can use our quick replies. Anything you would like to tell us? Yes, I would like to tell you. And from there, I'm going through the exact same survey questions that we had over in the web chat. Was my issue resolved? Yep, number one, it was. I'm now going to the scale rating as well. Here I can see a 1 to a 3 to a 4 or 5-star rating. I'll give this person 5 as well. Thanks for the high marks. Anything you'd like to add today? Cody is amazing.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Anytime, Cody. Cody's amazing. Thank you for building this amazing product. And it's with that, Cody, I just showed them how awesome it is. Why don't you show them how it's built and how it's done behind the scenes? So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share it over to you.
Awesome. So one thing, okay, I'm actually, the first place I wanted to start here is that Quiq has an awesome help document that explains how to set this all up on your own. And of course, Quiq support's here to guide you as well. And a lot of times we'll see this done, the survey get put in as part of the implementation as well. So Quiq's always here to help. And we also have some documentation so you can learn more. With the survey, really, there's a survey definition, which just kind of defines how the survey is going to look, how the survey looks, some of the questions you're going to ask, and that part. And so what I'll do here is I'll come into our fancy new surveys section of the Quiq UI. And from here, I've made 2, and you can also create a new one. I'll just spy on one that I've already, pre-cooked here. And so this is the CSAT survey. And the first thing you can control is just the label. And this is what it's going to show up in your Quiq reports, etc. There's a queue. And so why does a survey have a queue? It's because, in Quiq, we really wanted to make sure we didn't lose any of the awesome configurability that we have in conversation rules and in QuickBots. So the survey, this definition piece will actually be administered via conversation rules and QuickBots. So hopefully you're all familiar with those. If not, we can talk after. So we had to define the queue. This is where the survey bot will eventually live. We have a little invitation message. Just, please tell us how we did today. And this is the customer this message is what's sent, as well as the first question choices. So that's kind of how we get the seamless integration right out to the customer. And then as far as this invitation repeat window, this is we realized pretty quickly that we didn't want to, keep spamming customers with surveys if they're going through the queues multiple times a day. So you can actually control that right here in minutes. And so maybe I'll do 1440 minutes and say, we won't talk to the customer. We won't invite the customer to take this survey again within that window, which just prevents the duplicate invitations. And then, so this is where you actually define your survey questions. And so let's maybe add a new question here. We'll add another. And this survey has the same 3 types that Lawrence was saying, the score choice, the yes, no, or just any. So we still call this a score choice, but it's a yes, no. First contact resolved is usually, the FCR stands for that. That's usually what we see customers do. And then the free form text. So for this one, we can actually switch the choices out. So we could do, let's say it's a comedy club, and how much did you laugh today? And so you could actually use a custom emoji there to say, I really laughed a lot or a little. And then these will actually be converted into scores in the reporting side of things. You can also customize responses. So this is how I would do the yes, no. And so I'll customize responses here, and I'll actually delete a couple of these, and we'll say, no, I was not satisfied. I was barely satisfied. Or I was very satisfied. And this is where you could go, as Lawrence said, up to 10 or et cetera. So now you've got that question on there. And so you'd configure your questions like that. The survey context is for reporting. That's how we actually add more context to the survey. So oftentimes you put owner, whoever the user ID of the owner of the conversation, the contact point of the conversation. Maybe you have a really important custom field, like I don't know that I actually have one in here, but order ID. And so now you could actually add order number, and in your survey results, which I'll show later, you'll actually have the order number available as you're looking, maybe you're looking through all of your 1-star reviews. You're going to go follow up and find those orders and see what happened with them. And so that's survey context. So that's the survey definition. From there, so now we've got a definition. What we need to do is actually administer this survey. So to do that, we do that through QuickBots, like I said, because QuickBots are just so powerful. So I've already pre-cooked a bot here, the CSAT bot, and I'll just make a new draft of it. So all the survey administration is done through Quiq's data gathering behavior. And so this is where you would, and I'll actually remove a field and throw it back on just so you can see that. So you go through here, you find all of your survey fields. And so I actually have 2 surveys. I have a brand survey as well, but for this one, I'm doing the CSAT. So I'll add the CSAT survey comment back on there, and boom, it's on there, and it's good to go. So this will be administered just like any bot that you do in Quiq. And why is it so important that this is done in Quiq? Well, we have cool things in QuickBots like execute logic. And so in this survey, I'm saying if the first contact resolved the question is no, now I'm actually going to change location to allow them, because they didn't get their issue resolved. I'm going to allow them to go back and request a human agent. So say a message, something like, we're sorry to hear your issue was not resolved. Can we connect you with a human agent and put you right back into the queue where the human agents are, and just ensure that your customers, get that last chance to talk to the agents again.
So let's quickly hit pause there, Cody, because this is super, super powerful, right? So we're in Cody's example here right now, and I'm just going to restate it just one more time because it was awesome, is when the question came up in the survey, hey, was your issue resolved today? He had a yes or no question. And if the person hit no, it's immediately saying, hey, we're going to, try and make this better for you, right? And we're going to send this directly back over to a queue. That queue could actually even be an escalation queue as well.
Correct.
Now, there's another option we could do here on the score choice. We could do the same thing with execute logic of saying, how would you rate your agent today if you had 1 through 5 stars? Well, if it's maybe 3 and above, capture that information. But if the person got a 1 or a 2-star rating, the execute logic node will notice that and go, whoa, we're not too happy right now with this, or this person isn't too happy with our agent right now. I will divert again and send this to the escalation queue or send it back over to an agent. And I think that execute logic is really key because you're capturing this survey in the moment when the person was just talking to an agent. And to know that we could then send them back to an agent or a different agent or an escalated agent, I think is a really key differentiator here for Quiq surveys, because again, it's capturing right at that moment. Here you can see Cody is making that change right now for the execute logic, saying, hey, if the default score is less than 3, I'm going to want to fire this over to an agent. Right. Very cool. Thank you, Cody, for pointing that out. And yeah, so now we have the execute logic, which is doing both. Were you happy, yes or no? And then also, if I got a low rating, we're going to send this over to an agent as well. All right, I'll let it get back to you, Cody, but I just really wanted to highlight that.
I love it. Thanks, Lawrence. And so always at the end, let's say that it is the happy path. Always say, thanks for your feedback message, totally customizable there. And then you'd want to close the conversation. And we do the immediate close on surveys because it's over at that point. And yeah, I think that's all there is with the bot piece of this. Pretty simple. So one last piece. So, okay, I have a survey, I have a bot. What actually sends the survey invitation out? And so that's done in Quiq conversation rules. We have a handy new rule action for you. And then you can see I've been doing some survey routing edits. On your closing auto response, Now you just send a survey invitation. So I'll actually delete this and start over just so you can see that step. We're going to add an action to send the survey. And now you can pick which survey you're going to send. And since surveys were tied to queues earlier, this will essentially route it to that survey queue that way. And so, yeah, from there, and with those 3 steps, the convo rule, the bot, and the survey definition, you've got a survey, it's up, it's running. So now the important part, reviewing the results, because you're not taking this feedback for nothing. So now we go into the Quiq Manager view, and there's a handy dandy new feedback tab. And so from here, I can see a few stats on response rates. So we can see that, survey invitations is every time that conversation sent that message out to invite the user to the survey. We can track that. And then we can track how many surveys were submitted. So last hour I had 12, and this hour I just had 1 survey submitted. And we can also see the trends of the survey score. This is a little bit more impressive, I will admit, with more data, but I had to prep for this in a hurry today. But yeah, you can definitely see your score over time. You can zoom out with this interval picker. So go way back, do a whole month, do a whole year, etc., and just get your general trends right there. What if you want to see a little bit more detail on your agents, right? Because the most common use case we see is kind of an agent rating sort of a system. And so we have this agent results subtab here that can show you that. So now we can see in total how many submissions we've had, how we scored on average, and was the issue resolved on average across all agents. And we can also see that per agent. So Cody, I'm not a very good agent. I'm the worst agent on the squad here with a rating of just 3.84. But Sarah agent, she's great. She's got a score of 5. And so maybe we're going to pick out Cody because we see he's a bad agent. Now we can actually go in here and view all of the surveys that happened with Cody. So now we can see that Cody Wenzel had a conversation with Cody test 2. These were the survey scores. So 5 and a 1, that was happened to be a good one. But was your issue resolved 0 and a low score of 2? So we're going to view this conversation and see what happened. And so basically all Cody said was that he got the message, and then he ended up getting the survey. So that's probably why he didn't get a good score. And you can view all of the conversations that way. You can also unselect the agent, see for everyone, and you can also go hunting for the low scores here. Maybe all of the 2 and below. If we add in a 3, there's a few more that show up. Yeah, so that's the survey results. But so that's kind of the quick tool that we've built for you. But we know from experience that everybody loves to get at the raw data as well. And we've got 2 options for that. We've got a little export data here where you can export the data, and you'll get a nice CSV. You can take this, put it into Excel or Google Sheets. I'll show it in the Apple Sheets program here, and you can, you see the agent that did the survey, the platform, requested time, submitted time, and the scores. So you could totally, build your own pivot tables and go nuts that way. Another cool thing we've got is the sentiment score. So you can actually see what, a positive sentiment on the comments that we had on the free-form text question. And so you can actually look at finding bad comments as well. So yeah, that's that. And then we also know that even with a nice CSV, CSVs are still not exactly enterprise scale. So we also have a webhook, and I'll show that here. So every time that a survey is submitted, you can get the raw data to your servers through the survey's webhook. And under messaging, webhook, survey submission received. And so now you can also get at all of the raw data that the survey collected, and knock yourself out, build it, integrate it with a different survey platform, etc. And with that, Lawrence, I think that covers the gambit.
Yeah. Cody, that was excellent. Let's quickly touch base on the API and the webhooks.
Yeah.
So the customers that are currently using Quiq surveys that are pulling that information, can you kind of just rattle off some of those integrations that they're doing them with?
Yes. So really any system is capable. And also, Quiq Pro services can help with that. If you're struggling with IT resources, we have a whole pro services team that can help subscribe to this and just get it really into any survey system, that has a API. And so that's the limiting factor. I know that Spirit's doing this with a partner of theirs, where they're just taking all of this data and putting it into their own database. And yeah, I think that any platform would work. Lawrence, you probably know better than me on some of the biggest survey platforms, but I don't think there's any issue with any of them.
Okay. Awesome, Cody. I appreciate that. So I'm going to just pivot one more time over here, and let's do a quick wrap up because I know we've got some questions. And so over here on this side, the key points that I want you guys to have as a takeaway is the types of questions. Again, rating and scale, free text and comments, Boolean questions, yes or no. Cody did a great job of showing you that you can customize those questions to your liking. The cool thing about our pricing model is it's a price per survey. So you only get charged when the actual survey is taken. This is not something that you have to subscribe to. You just enable surveys. And then if a person opts in to take one, that is the only time that the pricing or the charge actually occurs. As we just talked about, that this works with webhooks. It's bot powered, so that way you can execute amazing logic behind your bot or behind your survey if you need to. We've got the feedback reporting that Cody showed off. It's a really great insight in seeing how your agents are doing. And then also with the scale rating, we can adjust it from 1 through 10, 1 through 5, completely customizable. But the other thing I wanted to point out is that surveys can be evoked at any time. Right now, both Cody and I were showing off being able to do it at the end of a conversation. You could also transfer to a survey at any point. And you could have a survey asking for, were you happy about, your return authorization form? And the person could quickly fill out that survey while the agent was still working on that process. And then you could find out if they had a good experience with the actual agent themselves. You could have a survey that's loaded at the very beginning. You could actually have a survey that's sent out as an outbound message as well. So it doesn't have to be at the end of the conversation. It could be after the concert was over and you wanted to send a mass outbound to all the attendees to find out, hey, was this a good concert for you guys? So there's a lot of flexibility of what you can do with a survey. Yes, we showed you at the end of the conversation, but think out of the box of how you'd want to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you would want to have multiple surveys available. Lastly, I'm going to just talk about pricing one more time. I think the key person for you to be talking to is your account manager. Meet with them to find out how you can get surveys turned on in your instance. But I just wanted to call this out that we are very cost competitive to what you can find out in the market. So for us, if you have less than 5 questions, it's only 10 cents a survey, which is incredible. And if you have a response rate as high as 30%, I think that is more than well worth it to be returning on your ROI. If it's more than 5 questions, there's a little bit more complexity in there, then the survey jumps up to 50 cents. And again, a survey is only counted when a person says, yes, I would like to take one. So it's with that. Thank you so much for everybody joining us today. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But while you've still got Cody and myself available here, no questions yet. But if you do have any questions, reach out to your account manager, and you can feel free to reach out to Cody and myself as well. But we'd like to give you 3 minutes back of your day. And thank you for joining us for the quick product update. We have another one coming up for you next quarter. Really exciting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a good time.
Thanks.